So we have several school districts bringing their students here today to attend poll worker training slash student poll worker training so that they can work with us during the primary election and then of course the general election. And so the goal is to engage the students in the civic duty and ultimately make them lifelong voters. So we'll be talking to the students about the check-in process for the voters, and that will cover the voter ID law, exactly what questions we have to ask the students, how the primary election works, what kind of ballots that the voters will see on election day, and then how the voting equipment works. So that the students will be able to assist the voter at the express vote, and then the importance of watching the ballot box so that the voters don't accidentally leave with their ballot. So we've always had student volunteers in the past, but they've been limited in their role that they can participate on election day. We had a new law passed in 2019 that actually allows the students to work as poll workers, provided that they attend poll worker training, and so that's what we're doing here today. So we're hoping more so that we actually have the poll workers or have the students on election day. We know that they'll transition out and each election cycle will be training new students. The ultimate goal is to get the students involved in civic duty and then make them lifelong voters by engaging them early on in what the election process is.
Well, AP Government and Politics, the course requires a project, and a lot of it's usually like essay-based or polls, so we are very lucky that we get to do something very unique. And then the rest is student council, and everyone's volunteering.
I mean, I think, like she said, getting them involved in the voting process and getting them familiar with it and just encouraging people to go out and vote. I think there kind of can be, I don't know, a negative stigma sometimes with it. And so getting, like she had said earlier, my vote doesn't count. Well, it does, and it's important for them to realize that, especially in local elections.
But in class, we've actually been going over the different types of elections, like primary and general elections. What's the difference between them? But I'm also personally interested in the different accessibility laws that we have for different groups of people in U.S. elections. So one thing I was actually really surprised about was about all the different little things that poll workers have to make sure that they do in order to give everyone the right to vote. So for example, the little rules they have with when they show your ID, how you have to give it back before you look for their address to ensure that you're not using their any form of identification for their address. I found that interesting. I also found interesting that you need a threshold in order to actually have the polls in different languages. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yes, I'm very excited for March 3rd, and I hope that wherever I go to college, I may still have the same opportunity there or come back home here to do it for Washington County.